And I'm Andrea Mock, and tonight is the night everyone has been waiting for. Election Day is finally here, and tonight News 19 is providing you with extended team coverage of voting across the Midlands.
Indeed, polls in South Carolina set to close in just under an hour now, and all day we've had teams at different polling locations across the Midlands, and we have two of our reporters joining us live during this broadcast. All
right, so we are going to kick things off tonight in Lexington County. According to SC Votes, Lexington County had just over 55% of their registered voters cast their ballots early.
Yeah, that still leaves over 107,000 people with a chance to cast their ballots today. We're being joined now by News 19's Josie Frost, who is in Lexington County with the details. Josie, what are you seeing right now?
Andrea, JR, at this location here in Lexington County, things have picked up a lot over the last hour or so. And around 5:30, this parking lot was really full, but it started to empty out just a little bit. Now, I spoke to the clerk just a few minutes ago. She said 546 people have voted at this location as of just about 10 minutes ago. So that means over the last hour since I first checked, around 50 people or more have come by. Now, before that, 780 absentee and early votes were at this location, and I actually just got off the phone with the Lexington County Elections Director. She said that including today's votes and early voting, 139,000 people have cast their ballots in Lexington County. Now, I spoke to one woman, Robin Lynch, earlier, who said if you haven't come out to vote yet, you need to do so.
I would say get off the couch right now. I think that this election is probably one of the most important elections of my lifetime and many others.
Now, obviously, there is still time if you haven't come out to vote yet. As we know, polls close at 7 p.m. Andrea, JR.
All right, Josie, thank you so much. Well, now we're going to move to Sumter County. News 19's joined live with our reporter, Shelly Garzone, who is at Wilson Hall, which is serving as a big polling center for residents in that area.
And let's find out what the voter turnout has looked like there today. Shelly?
Yeah, JR, Andrea, things are still a little bit slow here at Wilson Hall. We've had a couple families come in the last few minutes to kind of cast their ballots as polls close in the next few minutes. I just checked in with poll workers, and that number has now increased to roughly about 450 voters here at Wilson Hall. I've spoken to poll workers who say people are coming in maybe 8 at a time. That's kind of the max they've seen throughout the day. Now, wait times are about there is no wait times, there's no lines here, but people are taking about roughly 5 to 10 minutes to vote. Now, I caught up with a voter earlier today who said this election is super important for her.
It is so easy to vote. You know, here at Wilson Hall, you just walk right in, so many people organized. It did not take long at all, so just come on out and vote. I wanted to vote for mayor and also wanted to vote for the penny tax. So that was something important to me, and so I'm glad to have been able to do that today.
Now, JR, Andrea, those short lines are partly due to some of the record number of early voter turnout we've had in Sumter County. I spoke to the director earlier today who said they've seen thousands of voters cast their ballots early, and she mentioned that in the 40 years that she's been doing this, this is kind of an incredible election. She says she's never seen so many people cast their ballots early here in Sumter County. Now, coming up later in the show, I will walk you through some of the races here in Sumter County that voters are interested in. Andrea, JR, back to you.
All right. Yes, there are so many races across the entire state, and we all remember elections where we have had to wait a very long time to vote. So some folks showed up before the polls even opened today to get in line. That's the scene we saw over at Dreher High School, and they said they were very excited to be first.
I came this early because I have other things to do today. Who knows what happens in a day, but it's my civic duty to come and vote. I'm an American, and it's my American duty.
I just look at the rest of the world, and I see that a lot of other countries don't get the same rights that we do here. And I think we should definitely express those rights and liberties by coming out to vote. It's an important thing.
And I wanted to make sure I voted. It's very important to me. I don't think I've missed an election in over 50 years, and or close to 50 years.
And as you saw in some of that footage there, some of our voters had to put up with some rain this morning.
Yes, if you were out bright and early like our voters over at Dreher High School, you might have had a little drizzle on you, but that's okay. It didn't deter them, Efren. They even waited with the sprinkles outside.
They must have listened because I said, take the umbrella. It might be a little bit of rainfall, but it's not going to hamper you getting out to the polling locations. And we did finally get some rain. Not much, though. 15/100ths of an inch of rainfall, which is still beneficial. But, man, it has been warm. Started off a low of 66 and ended with a high of 80. No record breakers, but still unseasonably warm. And the light showers that we had this afternoon moved off into the upstate, and now they are gone. Notice we got a little bit of the moon showing over Williams-Brice Stadium. We've got clear skies. Temperature is 74 degrees, but it is quite humid outside. And we might see an isolated shower, maybe, as we get into the late evening. Otherwise, the clouds will start building in. The temperatures drop from the low 70s into the mid 60s after midnight. And then, with that moisture we already got, we're looking at dense fog likely in the morning, a low of 65, mostly cloudy at lunchtime, 78 degrees with a high of 82 in the afternoon. But we do have another return for some showers. And here's the catch that we need to be aware of. There could be heavy rainfall late tomorrow evening and overnight and into Thursday. We'll talk about that forecast in just a few minutes.
All right, Efren, thank you so much. Right now, the Democratic Party is setting up for what will be a big watch party tonight over at Beer Keller Brewing Company here in Columbia. And that's where we find News 19's Rachel Ripp, who's going to be at the building live tonight as people are watching the results come in. Rachel, what's going on so far?
I'm here at Beer Keller in Canal Side next to downtown Columbia. This is the location for the South Carolina Democratic Party watch party as those election results come in. And you can see behind me, they're still setting up this venue. Things should be underway in the next 30 minutes or so. And we'll be hearing from Congressman Jim Clyburn as well as South Carolina Democratic Party Chair Crystal Spain. We'll also hear from Lexington and Richland County Democratic Party chairs. There's a venue both inside and outside with chairs and tables and projector screens, TVs for people to watch those results come in. We'll be sure to keep you updated with all of those latest results here on WLTX. For now, reporting in Columbia, Rachel Ripp, News 19, WLTX.
All right, thanks so much, Rachel. Meanwhile, the Republican watch party, of course, is also happening tonight. That's just down the road from where the Democrats are. They're going to be at Tin Roof tonight in Columbia. We do have a news crew there that are going to get set up starting at 7 o'clock and bring you the latest and all the decisions that come out of that party. We'll visit there live just as soon as they get set up.
And now tonight we head to Kershaw County. That's where our Walker Lawson spent the day talking with voters. Tonight he tells us what voter turnout is looking like there. Walker?
Well, good evening, guys. We are here in downtown Camden at one of the precincts located through Kershaw County. Now, this is typically one of the busier precincts within the county. We just spoke to the poll clerk who said they have around 300 people that have voted today. That's lower than they normally see on election day. They say that's due to early voting. They said here they had around 20,000 early voters over the course of the 2 weeks. Now, just moments ago, we spoke to a voter who says this is the first time he's cast his vote in several years.
Last time I voted, I'm not even gonna lie, sir. It was the 2008 election. It's been a minute, and so right now it's the perfect time to bring, for me to come vote and try to help bring the country back together, and try to help the Americans and just everybody in this country.
Now again, polls close at 7 p.m. tonight, so you still have time to get out and cast your vote. Reporting in Kershaw County, Walker Lawson, News 19, WLTX.
All right, Walker, thank you so much. Well, you have about an hour, a little less than an hour, to go ahead and get in line. And as we have said many times before, in most states, including here in South Carolina, if you are in line at 7, you get to vote.
Our Verify team tonight is taking a closer look.
Today is Election Day. In most places, the polls will close between 6 and 8 p.m. local time. But what if you get there right before closing time and there's a line? Can you still cast your ballot? Let's verify. Our sources: various state laws and elections officers, the Bipartisan Policy Center, and the American Civil Liberties Union. The answer is yes. If you are in line before the polls close, you have a legal right to vote. Even if you're still waiting after the official closing time, no one can turn you away. Election laws are almost all written by states. For instance, this one in Arizona, quote, any qualified voter who at the moment of closing is in the line of waiting voters shall be allowed to vote. Every state we looked at had a similar law, and many state and local elections officers reiterate the point in their voter outreach. The ACLU's voter rights guide says, quote, if the polls close while you're still in line, stay in line. You have the right to vote. Now, if you get to the polls after they officially close and you still see a line, you're not allowed to join it. You have to be in line before the polls officially close. With your Verify, I'm Casey Decker.
All right, a reminder tonight, those polls are open until 7. If you still plan to vote, you will need a photo ID. That can be your South Carolina driver's license, a South Carolina DMV ID card, a U.S. passport, a military ID, or a voter registration card with a photo.
And WLTX is the place to watch tonight. Even when we go off air on our newscasts, we will be streaming on News 19 WLTX Plus. You can find us on Fire TV, Roku, and Apple TV. We'll also be streaming on our website. All of that is going to start tonight at 7.
That's right.